Well, hey there everybody, and welcome to this video. This video is going to be all about using the pen tool in Gravit Designer. Now, the pen tool has quite a few interesting features, and we're going to use them to create a vibrant illustrated pinup. I'll visually demonstrate the many possibilities that the pen tool offers while I'm creating the illustration. So, enough talking, let's begin. So for our illustration, we're going to be creating something that's a little reminiscent of the illustrations of the 50s and 60s. This is something to keep in mind with our design, creating something that isn't so geometric in their presentation. So I'm going to start here, and then I'm just going to do this. All I'm really doing with the tool is just tapping and dragging. And join it all together. So we've got a nice solid shape all together, and it's looking pretty good, but I think we can modify it a bit more. Add a bit more personality to this design. So what we want to do is go over here and go over to subselect. Now what you'll notice is when you drag the cursor over the line is a little tiny symbol will appear. If we click and drag, that allows us to curve the line individually. Think of it a bit like a piece of string wrapped around two nails. We can drag it any way we want, but we also have limitations of where these joints are. So just something to keep in mind. Now, the other thing you'll notice is that there's two little extensions out here. We can grab those, which can add a further extension, but also even it up with the joints down here, so we have a nice smooth connection rather than it looking so disjointed. If I just go ahead and do that. So it's not so disjointed. But if I go over here, hit subselect, and click here, and then grab that, and then even it out, you see we've got a nice curve for this one here. And so we can go ahead and do that with the rest of these lines. That's what I'm going to do. Now, you've also probably noticed we've got a border around the edge of our shape. So what we do is we'll just select it. And we'll go over here to where the borders are. We'll select this, and then we'll just go up here to trash. Now we're just going to add some color. So there we go. We've got a lot more of a dynamic head that we've designed simply by transforming the lines. The nice thing about this, it also gives you a lot more freedom when you're trying to create your illustrations. You don't feel so restricted when you're using the pen tool, and you can and it also gives you a chance to play around a lot more with your designs. So now let's move on to creating the hair. Again, we're going to be selecting the pen tool. And I'm going to start here. We want to turn the borders off. Go up here, choose a color. And again, we want to layer this behind the first shape. So we'll go up here, click send backwards. And again, if we want to start manipulating it, we just go up, choose the subselect tool, and then that gives us the freedom to start warping and manipulating all the different lines that we've created. Now we're going to add some hair to the foreground. So start here. And choose the same hue. And once we've done that, we'll go ahead and select the sub-select tool and then just go ahead and transform them. And again, if I grab these little extensions here, that allows me to pivot and add more dynamic curve to the shapes. You can do that with the rest of these by clicking on the little white sphere, clicking on the extension, and then manipulating it like so. So I said before, the one thing about the pen tool is you're not restricted. Anytime you feel unhappy with something that you've created, you can simply go back in with the select tool, select it, and then just go ahead and play around with the shape until you're happy with it. Well, that's looking pretty good so far, so we'll move on with the rest of can't even talk. So we'll move on with the rest of the design. So I'm going to start with the neck, again, choosing the path tool, the pen tool, whichever one you want to call it. We'll start here. Now, there's one other little trick with the pen tool. Since I have this already created, what I can do is if I drop and then I drag it, I can curve the shape ahead of time and create a mirrored version of the line down here. Additionally, if I wanted to, so I can just do that. So again, clicking, dragging, and then that mirrors the line that I've just created. So I can then bring that up. So you can save time also by clicking and dragging so that you can create a perfect shape if you need it. Then we'll go over here, choose our hue. Go, and make sure we layer it underneath this layer. So now we're going to go ahead and create the torso. We'll select the pen tool again, and then create the shape. And then once we're done with that, we'll go over and then we'll choose our hue. And then once we're happy with the shape itself, we will make sure that we layer it behind the neck and then move on to the rest of the design. Then, as I said before, I can just go back in, making sure I've got the sub-select tool, and then just re-edit and remaster this section here. So let's go ahead and create the waist and legs for this. I'll make a sort of a stylized little mini skirt. So start here, click, drag. Then click and then drag in. So as you can see already, we've already got quite a dynamic design. The idea of this is to sort of break away from the traditional mold of using basic geometric shapes like circles and squares. We want to have a bit more flow, I suppose is the best word to describe, a bit more fluidity. It allows you to actually have a bit more animation and personality to your designs. The pen tool opens up a lot more options to your illustrations. So that's looking pretty good so far. I might come back and modify a few areas of this. But for now, let's get on with the legs. So again, pen tool, we'll create the background. So again, we want to transform it. We're going to subselect. Allows us to freely transform each individual joint and line to what we want it to be. So I'm going to go here, just move the cursor over this line here, then click and drag. Allow me to curve it. And the same with this one here. Now what I am going to do is I'm going to move this over here, but I'm going to add some extra features. So we'll use the pen tool again. So we'll start here, create some sort of swanky little socks. Start here, down there, and there. And then let's choose the white, and we'll choose pen tool again, put that there, put that there, put that there, that, then we'll choose a nice warm green. Now we'll just copy that, place that over the top, and then we'll create a shoe. Making sure that we choose the same hue as the sock, so that it all matches up correctly. Then what we'll do is we'll just highlight all those shapes together. We'll go up here to clip, and then we'll just drag that back into place. There we go. the same for this one here. So the same thing, but we want to use darker hue. Because this is in the background, so we'll select that hue, go over here to our color palette, dip the hue slightly, and then little strips, and then same thing again, choose the hue, copy and paste it, and then same with the shoe, same thing. Select all that together, we'll go over here, getting back on track, let's go ahead and create the arm for this illustration. So again, I'm going to have pen tool, just go up here, start here, choose a lighter hue. Now for this, I am going to add a border. So I go over here to the little plus sign, and a border, and we'll choose a little deeper hue, and we can increase its size over here at the numbers, and simply increasing that digit from 1 to say 4, and then hitting enter. And that has given us a nice border around this shape. So I'll go ahead and create the arm. Again, we're going to change that hue for the border to this, and we'll increase that again, 3, and we'll add hue on top, and then we'll just layer it underneath the arm, like so. And if we wanted to, we can just rotate it a little bit. The reason we've added the borders so we can actually differentiate from both the leg and the arm. So I'm going to add a few more extra little features. A little bracelet down here. So that's looking pretty interesting so far. We've got the whole design there, but all that's missing now is the facial features. So we'll start with the eyes. We'll do that with the circle tool this time. Over here, create a circle. And then we're just going to copy and paste that shape, bring it over here, and transform it. Then we're going to go up here, and then over to subselect. And then we're just going to shrink it down a little bit, and then put it on the face, rotate it. And then we're going to copy it again. Now we're going to create the mouth. We'll do that starting here. We'll go ahead and add a border, make some lipstick for them. Choose a nice hue, increase the size, and then add different hue there. I'm just going to go over here to subselect, just transform it a little bit. Now, while I am working on this, I'm also thinking about other ideas and other features. I've also been contemplating the idea of adding a nose here. Again, I might experiment with the idea as well as adding an ear, perhaps, or not. But let's experiment and create a nose. So start here. That's looking pretty nice. It's a nice little feature, adds a little bit more personality to our appearance. I'm also going to manipulate this a little bit more. I'm also going to add some blush. We'll do that with the circle tool. Just create a simple circle and go over here and then select it and then copy it and then place it on the other side. And lastly, let's go ahead and add some highlights. So we'll do that with the pen tool again. Go over here, click, hold and curve it slightly. Clicking and dragging our cursor to create the shape that we want. Go into subselect, and now I can freely transform the shape to what I want it to look like. I'm also adding some details down here, so we'll zoom back in. We're going to add some details here on the shirt. So again, we want to have some creases and some folds, so we use the pen tool for this. And then choose a little deeper hue. We just want to add little details just to make this design, to make certain features stand out, to make it unique and not feel so flat. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and select the pen tool again, and then create another highlight for the hair just here, and then add all the extra features, and then clip it all together, and then just manipulate it like so. And then once I'm happy with that, I'll go ahead and choose the same hue as I did for the other highlight. So now that that's done with, we're just going to take a look at our design overall and take a quick moment to think if there's any other extra features we want to add or subtract, or any areas of the design that we want to change before we just call it a day. One last thing I am going to do is just add a background hue just to make our design stand out. So there we go. We've created an illustrated pinup only using the pen tool. With some further experimentation, you can open up a lot more to make your style bloom and to stand out from the crowd. Well, we've reached the end of the video. If there's anything you'd like to see me cover, then feel free to leave a comment down below. Thanks for watching everybody, stay creative and I'll see you next time.